So now the types of muscle tissues. Okay, so three types are there, of which the first one is the skeletal muscles. So now what is the skeletal muscles? Skeletal muscles means the muscles which are present or attached to what? The skeletal bones. Okay, so they are also known as what? Striated or voluntary muscles. Why striated and voluntary? Because striations they will be having strip-like things. Okay, so that's called as what? Like this. They will be having striations like this. Strips in between. So hence they are called as striated and voluntary muscles. Voluntary means what? Only when we do it, then only it will happen. Okay, so that's called as what? Voluntary muscles. Plus here there will be what? Dark and light bands present. Dark and light bands present. Okay, so if one strip will be light, other will be dark. So that's called as light and dark bands, and they will be multinucleated, means many nucleus they will be having. Plus, they are what? Fibrous, unbranched, and the shape will be cylindrical. Okay, like in the biceps and all those things. Okay, you will find this skeletal muscle which is present. So these are what the features of the skeletal striated or voluntary muscles. Then comes the second one, smooth. So now smooth muscles is also termed as unstriated or involuntary. So they are not under our control. Okay. Then they are uninucleated and they do not have bands. So they are without bands. Okay, then they will be fibrous, unbranched, and here the shape will be spindle. Okay, means like this. This is spindle shape and only one nucleus they will be having. Okay, so fibrous, unbranched and spindle shape. And you will find these type of vessels in the, muscles where in the vessels and esophagus. Okay, so like in the internal organs only you're going to find this particular things. Wherever the smooth muscles have been required there. Then the next one is what? The third one, cardiac. So cardiac, only in one place they will be present, that is heart. So heart muscles. So again, heart muscles, you cannot control it. So obviously it is what? Involuntary. Now this is also uninucleated. Okay. And they will have bands, but they will be faint bands. Faint, dark and light bands they will be having. And the position will be obviously in the heart only, in the wall of the heart. Plus, they will be what? Fibrous, branched, and cylindrical in shape. So these are what? The three types of muscle tissues. Then comes the fourth one, which is neural. Neural. So neural tissues means what? It is nothing but a unit of neural system. And what is this neural system? Neurons. And basically the cells are called as what? Neuroglia cells. So this neuroglial cells helps in two things. Okay, that is, first one is this one, protection, and second one is the support. Now, whom does it support and protect? It's nothing but the neuron. Okay, so what happens is, whenever a neuron gets stimulated, means whenever they get an electric impulse, then it will travel through one nerve cell to the another nerve cell. That is how, like, we get the information. Like, for example, if you touch a hot object, what will happen? Suddenly you withdraw your hand, means your brain is getting the stimulus, that electric signal it is getting, that it's a hot object, you should remove your hand, otherwise you will burn it. So this is for this purpose only what the nerves or the neurons have been present. So basically this tissues you will find in the neuron, and it will also help in what? The process of transfer of the electrical signals. Okay, so this is all about what? The four types of animal tissues. Okay, so as you know, from the cells, tissues are from the tissues, organ, then the organ system. So next what we are going to see is the organ and organ system. So each organ is made up of what? Tissues. So there will be many type of tissues. Okay, and they will be what? Complex. Right? So depending upon what organ or what organ system it is going to form, the complexity of the tissue will differ. Okay, and again, that is based upon the two factors which we have already learned, which is nothing but the morphology and anatomy. Okay, so we are going to see certain examples, okay, with regards to all the tissues and parts which we have studied. That is, we have the earthworm, cockroach, as well as the frog. So the first one is the earthworm. So we'll see what the anatomy and the morphology of each and every animal which you're going to see. So the first one is what? Earthworm. So earthworm means it's nothing but a reddish brown, what do you say, a terrestrial creature, right? Which is basically, I'll just write it down, terrestrial invertebrate. And you will find this where? In the soil, basically in the upper layer of soil. So the common name of the earthworm is Ferretima. This is what Indian earthworm is named as what? The Ferretima. Okay, so one basic characteristic or the important characteristics of the earthworm is what? It is very useful for the farmers because they are also called as what? Friends of farmers. And the reason why they are called as friends of farmers is they increase the fertility of soil by a process which is called as vermicompost. Vermi means earthworm, okay, and compost. So like if you make the layer of soil, then what do you say, organic matter, that is the vegetables or all those stuff, plus if you add earthworms in it, after few days you will get what? Manure or a vermicompost, which you can use for the plants so that they can grow nicely. So that's why they are called as what? Friends of farmers, earthworm. Okay, so this is all about what? The small information about earthworm. So now we are going to see the morphological, that is the external features as well as the internal features of earthworm. So the first is morphology. So morphology means how does it look? So whenever you see an earthworm, how does it look is the body will be what? Long, cylindrical shape, right? And their body will be divided into what? Segments. Divided into segments. And those segments are termed as what? Metamers. Okay, so if you see an earthworm, it'll be having like this ring-like structure. So this is only called as what? The segments or the metamers. Okay, so on the ventral surface, that is upper and down surface, two surfaces are there. So in the ventral surface, you will have what? Genital pore. Whereas on the dorsal side, you will find a mid-dorsal line. Okay, then comes the next one, that is anterior part. So the anterior part of the earthworm, okay, that is mouth on one end and the prostomium. Now what is prostomium? Prostomium is nothing but the covering of mouth. Okay, so in an earthworm, the first thing over here, you will find the prostomium and the mouth. So whatever the first segment of the earthworm is there, okay, the first body segment, that is termed as what? Peristomium. Peristomium. So what is peristomium? First body segment. First body segment. So which is the first body segment of the earthworm? It is peristomium. And what does it contain? That is the prostomium, that is the covering of the mouth. Okay. So whenever an earthworm matures, okay, it will be having almost say 14 to 16 segments, which is covered by a prominent band of glandular tissue, and this thing, that is this prominent band of glandular tissue in the first 14 to 16 segments, are called as clitellum. Clitellum. Okay, so in this 14 to 16 segments, this clitellum, again, it's been divided into three. Okay, that is the pre-clitellar, then clitellar, and post-clitellar. So this is what the segment 14 to 16, which is covered by a glandular epithelium, which is known as what? Clitellum. And that clitellum is been divided into three parts, that is pre-clitellar, clitellar, and post-clitellar. Okay. Then the next part is what? It will have 4 pairs of apertures, means opening, which is called as spermatical apertures. Okay, so spermatical apertures, like how it is in the human male, in the same way over here, it will be what? A pair of male genital pore. So this male genital pore is situated in 5th to 9th segment, and 18th segment. Okay, this is the position where the spermatical or the male genital pores are being present. Whereas if I take a female earthworm, okay, there you will find it's in the 14th segment. Female genital pore. Okay, so this earthworms will be having like many pores on the surface of their body. Okay, so this many pores on the surface of the bodies are called as what? Nephridiopores. So what is nephridiopores? The tiny pores present on body. Present on body. That's called as what? Nephridiopores. Okay, so if you see this clitellar or the male and female genital organ and the nephridiopores, apart from this, okay, apart from this, there are certain things, okay, which helps in what? Locomotion, so that it can move from one place to another place. So, except the first, last, and the clitellum, okay, there are certain segments which are called as what? S segments. Okay, so in the S segments, there is something which is called as setae. And what is the setae? Setae helps in locomotion. But this setae is absent where? In the first, last, and the clitellum region. Okay, so apart from these parts, everywhere in the body of the earthworm, you will find the setae, which is used for what? The locomotion. So this is all about the morphology or the external characters of the earthworm. Then the second one is the anatomy. So now internally, now if you see the body wall of the earthworm, like the entire body wall of the earthworm, it will be covered by what? Obviously the epidermis, right? That is the upper layer which it will be having. So the first thing is what? The body wall. Externally it's covered by what? Covered by epidermis. Then it will be having what? Two muscle layers. And this muscle layers will be circular and longitudinal. Okay, so they will be like, if it's an external body thing, then it will be circular and longitudinal. But whereas if you take the inner layer or the innermost part, then it is having something which is called as what? Coelomic epithelium. Okay, plus they will be having a single layer of columnar cells. Okay, which will be having secretory gland cells. And you already know columnar and cuboidal also can act as a secretory glands. So hence, the columnar epithelium which is present in the earthworm, it will be having the secretory gland cells. Then it also has an alimentary canal. This alimentary canal is basically, what do you say, a tube-like structure, okay, which will be present or which runs between first to last segment of the body. Plus, already we know that it has a mouth, but it also had what? A terminal mouth, which is going to open into the buccal cavity. And this will be present in 1 to 3 segments. the buccal cavity thing which is there, it is present in what? From 1 to 3 segments. And this finally will lead to the pharynx. Then from the pharynx, that is after 1 to 3, okay, next you have is what? Esophagus. Tube esophagus, which will start from 5 to 7. Okay, then it will enter into where? The gizzard, which is present in 8 to 9 segment. Now, what is this gizzard? Okay, like how we have teeth for grinding and all those purpose. In the same way, for the earthworm, there will be a gizzard which is present, which will help in what? The grinding. Like, in the soil particles, whatever the leaves will be present, for decaying that particular leaf, this gizzard helps in that. Okay, so from 8 to 9, you have this gizzard, which helps in what? Grinding. Then the next one is what? From 9 to 14, you have stomach. Then in this, there will be calciferous glands. Okay, so what is the use of this calciferous gland? So glands means it will secrete something, right? So this, what it does is, it will neutralize humic acid. Now what is this humic acid? See, whenever a particular decayed matter, it forms a humus, right? So in that humus, the acid which is present is called as humic acid. So this particular calciferous gland produces the humic acid, which is going to neutralize the humic acid present where? In the humus. Humus is nothing but the manure which has been formed. Then the next one, after the 14th gland, that is still the stomach, next you have is what? 15th. So in the 15th segment, intestine will start. And it will continue till last segment. Okay, so from the 15 to the last segment, in between you have a segment which is 26th. So now what is the speciality of the 26th is, here in the 26th segment, there will be a short and conical part of an intestine, okay, which is called as intestinal caecae. Intestinal caecae. So where is the intestinal caecae present? It is present in the 26th part. Then again, from 26th to 35, you're having a part called as typhlosole. Now, what is typhlosole? Typhlosole is nothing but foldings. Okay, the foldings which is present inside the earthworm, that is called as what? Typhlosole, and it is present between the 26th to 35th segment. Okay, then after the alimentary canal, what will be present at the end? Obviously, for the excretion purpose, there need to be something, right? So that is nothing but the anus. So anus will be the alimentary canal. It will open into what? A small rounded structure, which is called as what? Anus, right? So these are what the internally thing. Now, apart from this, the blood systems and all those stuff. Like for example, if you see the what do you say? The blood type, the circulatory system, whether it's open or closed. So here in this earthworm, it is a closed type of system, circulatory system. Okay, so whether whatever the blood is there, it will be confined to only two organs, that is the heart and the blood vessels. Okay, so these glands of the blood, they will be present where? In the segment 4th, 5th and 6th. So the function is same. This particular blood cells or the blood glands, they are going to produce what? The blood cells and hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. globin. Okay, plus they will also have the respiratory exchanges, that is gases. And I already told you one thing, okay, that the excretory organ is nothing but the anus, right? So here, actually the excretory organs, okay, they have certain tubules which are present in them, which are termed as nephridia. Nephridia. So nephridia is nothing but the tubular structure which you will find as an excretory organ in the earthworm. So this particular nephridia is been divided into three types. Okay, the nephridia is divided into what? The three types. First, septal. Second, integumentary. And third, pharyngeal. Now, what is the septal, integumentary, and pharyngeal? So, septal means this excretory organ will be present where? On the both sides. Both sides of intersegmental septa. Intersegmental septa means what? 15th segment to last. Okay, so from the 15th segment to the last of the part where the intestine opens, opening of intestine. Till there you will find this septal nephridia. Then comes the integumentary nephridia. So this is basically attached to the lining of the body itself. So attached to body lining or body wall, you can say body wall lining. And this will be from third to last opening on the body surface. Whereas pharyngeal nephridia means what? Three pairs you will be having of this pharyngeal, this one, that is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Okay, so this is all about what? The excretory organ termed as the nephridia, which is divided into three types: septal, integumentary, and pharyngeal. Okay, so after the excretory and those things, next one we have is what? A nervous system. Nervous system. So here, whatever the nervous system is there, it is called as ganglia. Okay, so there will be a ganglia arranged segment, and that particular nervous system is going to have something called as nerve cord. Nerve cord. Now, what is this nerve cord and where it is present? So basically, this nerve cord is present in where? Anterior region. Means third and fourth segment. Okay, so this cord will bifurcate laterally, encircling the pharynx. Encircling the means it will go around the pharynx. And from there, it will join what? And join cerebral ganglia. Dorsally to form nerve ring. To form nerve ring. So in short, okay, there is a nerve cord which is present. So this nerve cord is initially present where? In the anterior region of third and fourth segment. So this nerve cord will bifurcate, means come into two laterally, Then it will surround the pharynx and it will join where? To the cerebral ganglia, which is present in the dorsal side. And then it will form a structure which is called as what? A nerve ring. So these things are basically the nervous system of what? Earthworm. So this earthworms will also have certain kind of receptors, means because they are worms, so hence they will be having what? Certain receptors called as what? Chemoreceptors. Okay, plus touch receptors. So if you see these things, no, they will round up. When you touch them with something, they will round up. So they will be, these are only called as what? Chemoreceptors and touch sensitive receptors. Touch sensitive receptors. Plus one more important feature of the earthworm is what? They are hermaphrodite. They are hermaphrodite. So hermaphrodite means what? They will have two pairs of testes in 10th and 11th, plus the vasa differentia will be till the 18th segment. 18th segment. And they will also have what? Two pair of accessory gland. Okay, these are all parts of male reproductive system in the 17th and 19th. Okay, this is all about what? The male reproductive system. So whatever the spermathecae is there, okay, that is a sperm producing thing. So that will be all four pairs. We'll have four pairs of spermathecae, which will be present in the segment 6th and 9th. Plus, if you see the female reproductive parts, so there will be what? One pair of ovaries, that is at the 12th and 13th segment. Then ovarian funnels, okay, which will be the oviducts. So here if you see that particular earthworms, when they will be mating, okay, that is opposite sides they will show. Okay, that is for the exchanging the packets of what? The sperms over here, which is basically termed as, sorry, yeah, so which is basically termed as what? Spermatophores. So what happens is, whenever a mating happens, the spermatophores, okay, that is the mature sperms and eggs, they will come together. They will get deposited in the organ which I already told you, which is nothing but the clitellum. Okay, so they will get deposited in the clitellum, and here what will happen is the fertilization will take place. Okay, so these earthworms have something which is called as cocoons. Okay, so in this cocoons only what will happen? Fertilization and development. So that particular cocoon is going to produce approximately 2 to 20 baby worms. Okay, and that is how an earthworm is born.